All right, what's going on, guys? Today I wanted to talk about Microsoft ads. Now, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. I wanted to talk about why it's a super, super good supplement to Google Ads if you're already active on Google and you really just want to unlock another channel. It's the same thing I see with brands, if they're starting on Meta and then that incremental increase of like a couple grand, it's better to just push it to Google because you might get better return. So it's now for those brands at that stage of, you're spending, let's say at least on the low end, 10 to 15K, you have another couple grand to pour in. I would say test it out on Microsoft because sometimes the returns can be a lot larger than what you see on Google. And where I see this platform works particularly well, which again, nobody really talks about, nobody really understands, but where it works well is high ticket products because the larger part of the demographic on Microsoft is the older demographic. So these people typically have more money and are more ready to buy, and will take shorter amount of time to actually purchase. Again, this is at least just what I've seen, without even playing too much with the audience targeting. And number two, speaking off of the higher ticket products, if you have, let's say, like in skincare brand targeting, the older demographic, anything that really, like your audience is related to that, I can say with pretty good conviction, this will probably work for you. Aside from the demographic component, CPCs are typically a lot cheaper too. So what you'll see on Google, what you'll see here compared to what you see on Google might be 40% less, 50% less. I've seen that at times. So today I really just wanted to dive into how do you get started with Microsoft, what you need to keep an eye on. Again, not a super difficult platform, and really just the fundamentals to get you to unlock another revenue source. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about. Again, this is just a demo account with setting up some shopping campaigns, but we'll do it together. Is you want to make sure a merchant center is connected. The approach that I like to take is primarily focused on the shopping network, and then I have search campaigns as a supplement as well. So I'll typically just run those two campaigns, and then when you scale up, the approach differs, which I can make another video on because this one will be too long. What you'll want to do here, just create a store. So create your store. Typically, you can just import it from Google Merchant Center. Continue here, and then the rest of the process is pretty simple. After that, I would recommend just go to feeds. And what you want to do is you can create another feed. You can pretty much select which one you want to be pushed to shopping ads. Here we're using Data Feed Watch, just because again, all of that data, it's pretty much mirrored of what we're doing in Google Shopping. It's the feed optimization tool we use, so it's just imported. We pretty much copied from the other channel and imported here. So all the attributes, all the custom labels that I have, everything stays the same and we don't have to manually recreate anything. But again, whatever feed you're using, you can pretty much just create or import, or it might automatically import into here as well. And so the next thing that I want us to do is we're going to actually import from Google Ads. So that's a super convenient function of Microsoft Ads. It's the fact that you don't really have to manually create campaigns, aside from just tweaking a few settings, I find. But pretty much you can mirror the strategy that works on Google Ads. So what we want to do is import from Google Ads. And then there's two ways to do it. I typically do the advanced one or the custom one. And so after this, all I want you to do, just follow the steps. It's going to make you sign in. It's pretty straightforward. So you just sign in with Google with your email, select the correct ad account that you have. I'm just going to skip through this process. You'll just mirror pretty much whatever steps there are on your end. Okay, so it'll take you to ready to start your import. And then here we want to customize schedule, just because I don't want it to automatically resync and then it like inflates your budget by 300% without you knowing every single month or whatever status you do it. So I just do once, and then you can optimize it on its own from there. You can customize budgets as well, decrease by X%. I would just do this after, to be honest with you, after we do it. We're going to adjust bids as well. And then from here, if you want to customize further, you can, which I typically do. So we'll do that as well. And then here we want to select import specific campaigns and ad groups. Again, demo account, not really here, but what you'll see is, again, if you already have an active Google Ads account, you'll see like the shopping network, search network, all the other campaigns that you're running as well, which are eligible to be imported. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to press next. Okay, and then from here, there's some other information for us to know. So I would go down here. Everything looks fine. The only one that I really would prioritize is do not expand unsupported location targets, because the reason is if it doesn't catch a certain location, like if you added a certain city, it can actually go past that and not really be aligned with your actual targeting. And then the other thing that I would say is um, there's a section for include pause campaigns when importing new items. So if you have a campaign that is paused and you want to import it, it's not active in Google Ads yet. It won't import unless you have this toggle on, and then I would do the paused ads one as well. So include paused ads when importing new ads. Just again, foolproof way to make sure you import everything you want, and then we'll click the next step. And then we said import now. Okay, and then it'll just take a second to import. You'll see an import summary. I don't really see why it wouldn't be successful. So you'll just see that. And then you can view imported campaigns. So then we're going back to the campaign overview. So here we have a shopping campaign, search campaign. I know I just imported a search campaign, renamed it, and then shopping campaign already had here. It'll take a second for it to also sync the Merchant Center, because it's the same way, again, if you're experienced with Google Merchant Center, it might take a few days to actually crawl the feed and get all the information in, make sure the products are approved. So I wouldn't be too concerned if within the first few days you don't really see much and just a few products sinking in, but it'll get up to par. And then in terms of structure, I maintain it pretty much the same as Google Ads. I think that's just the low-hanging fruit, the easiest way to do it, especially if you're busy. And in terms of budgets, like I would launch at 20 to 30% on Google. You really don't need much. And then really just assess performance, because then maybe it's performing above caliber, above where you would want it to be, can start increasing budgets, can start scaling up. So something to keep in mind on that front. And then the other two things is the bidding strategy, because the bidding strategies that we have here as an option are different. You don't have any manual CPC with Bing ads or Microsoft ads, same thing, by the way. You only have enhanced. So honestly, I find enhanced CPC basically just means like it can go past the CPC targets that you actually set. It's more like a suggestion, but I don't find it goes too crazy ever. It's typically under control. CPCs are typically low, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. But I like to start an enhanced CPC, and then in terms of match types for the search campaign, I'll go phrase match. The reasoning, I find it Microsoft's algorithm functions the same way Google's used to, where exact was actually exact, phrase was actually exact. So I would stick to phrase match here. That typically does best. I would not really do broad. If you think of like broad on Google, which does work, by the way, but Microsoft is just that step behind, where it's like they're just not advanced enough, in my opinion, with the algorithm to be able to perform well on broad. In the future, sometimes I not in the future, but sometimes I do expand towards broad, but I'd rather just run like a performance max on here as well. So in terms of, again, like a starting up, make sure you're on enhanced CPC, make sure you're on phrase match keywords, I would say. And then also I would set my bids like 30 to 40% lower than what I'm on Google. So like if we go into here, all right, so we can go edit, change current bids, and set to whatever amount we want. Honestly, like I would set it around $1. Typically, you can set it a little bit lower, but typically what I like to do is be a little bit more aggressive at the start, and then you can cut back in the future. But yeah, like you can always adjust these bids, right? It's not set in stone. And you might already have like a bid imported from Google, so make sure that you adjust it, because you might not want it to be as high or whatever Microsoft manually decided off of like your smart bidding what it should be here. So something to keep in mind there. And then for search campaigns, like you can edit, and then you're gonna see like different bids here as well, and like you can change them on the ad group level. I would focus just do them on the ad group level, just because it's the simplest way, and then go to your keyword level here, and then change bids, and you can set it to the ad group default as well. So in terms of a really high level overview and tutorial, like that's really what I would do. The goal is make sure you have a Merchant Center set up, import from Google Ads, just because you already have the structure in place there. Select your shopping campaign, search campaign, make sure your bids are at the ad group level default, check that your product's in correctly, and then I would really go with a comfortable budget, like 20 to 30%. I'll make more in-depth overviews, but this was just really an introduction to the platform. I'll see you in the next one.